Hi, I'm Dylan Evans with Icon Vehicle Dynamics Engineering Team. We're here today to talk about the Lexus GX550 and the new generation 4Runner. We're going to talk about some differences and similarities between the two platforms. Although the two vehicles are on the same platform, the components that make up that platform are different between the two. The geometry is the same, the wheelbase is the same, but the parts are different. Parts like differentials, CV axles, and other things that add to the robustness of the chassis. Also different between the two are, of course, the drivetrain. The Lexus GX550 comes with a V6 hybrid, whereas the 4Runner comes with a 4-cylinder options powertrain. Well, the Lexus is marketed as the more luxury vehicle, but a lot of that perception has to do with the interior appointments, when in reality, the chassis underneath it is also up to off-road tasks. Okay, let's dive into some of those components. We'll take a look at them on the vehicles, and we'll show you exactly how they differ between the Lexus GX550 and the new 4Runner. Okay, let's take a look at some of the components here on this 4Runner. Shock absorber on this trim level is a TRD off-road, so it's got the upgraded Bilstein shocks. The bump stop on this system is inside this rubber boot. It's on the shaft of the shock. That's what handles bottom out of the suspension. Let's talk about the drivetrain. We have the smaller diff, as is found in the Tacoma and the Land Cruiser, and we have a tripod inner CV. It doesn't have balls like a CV that most people are accustomed with. It's strong, robust, has great lifespan, but doesn't have the angularity that we're always looking for when we're extracting more travel out of the suspension. Also note on this vehicle that the sway bar is on the back side of the A-arm as opposed to the front side of the A-arm that we'll see on some of the other variants. Between the Lexus GX550 and the 4Runner has a much lower base price. One of those reasons is because you can actually get a 4Runner in just two-wheel drive. This one, however, is their TRD off-road, four-wheel drive with a part-time transfer case. So that allows you to be in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, which most people are accustomed to with most off-road vehicles. The GX550, however, has a full-time four-wheel drive system, which means it has a center differential that's also lockable if you want to lock it into full-time four-wheel drive, but it's in four-wheel drive all the time on the street. That gives a lot of advantages, but you can't put this one in two-wheel drive. Some other differences in the drivetrain here, the rear differential is a lot bigger differential to handle the bigger power plant and drivetrain. So this one is a V6 hybrid with a lot more power and torque, and that is one of the reasons we find a lot beefier drivetrain components. Both the rear differential and front differential in the GX550 are going to be bigger, more robust, bigger bearings than you're going to find in the 4Runner or the Land Cruiser, incidentally. We've already installed the upper control arms, but the factory one was similar to what we saw on the 4Runner. So let's talk about the rest of the components. Shock absorber. This is an overtrail, so this has the electronic shocks. They mount in a similar position to the 4Runner. However, the bump stop, it's actually on the frame behind the shock here, and it contacts the lower control arm directly, taking all that bottom out load directly into the chassis instead of going through the shock absorber. That's considered to be a much more robust, rugged system for hard off-road use. Next, let's take a look at the differential and CV. The differential is the larger unit, as you would find in the Tundra, and we also have a large 6-ball CV. The larger CV gives you more angularity in the axle half-shaft operation, which allows us to extract more wheel travel out of the whole system. One of the things we strive for here at Icon is to extract as much potential out of vehicles as we possibly can. That's why we love these Toyota platforms. There's lots of opportunity to add performance, add wheel travel, add customization. Whether you want to build a 4Runner, which gives you a little bit more economy, the ability to be in two-wheel drive, or you prefer the Lexus with all the creature comforts and the extra power and the more robust drivetrain, either way, you can't go wrong. We have a slew of components and performance options so you can customize it any way you want.